Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Press Start Podcast. This is episode 27, and as always, I am Nostalgic Dan, one of your co-hosts, and I am also joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, CLiva, aka Mr. Pony Guy. How are you tonight?
You know what? I wasn't even going to bring up ponies this episode, but yet again, someone else brings it up.
Well, it's hard to do when you're like posting and unboxing your t-shirt and all that, so...
Dude, that was like last week.
It's an awesome t-shirt, even though you should have got salmon color. But that's just my opinion. And, of course, MrTechnoSqueek. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic.
That is fantastic, even though we use fantastic so much that it's really overused. But we do have a guest tonight. We have a wonderful guest tonight. Some of you might have heard of him. It is Mr. Petedorr from Pete's Game Room. How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. What's up?
Enthusiastic as always.
Yes.
So why don't you tell listeners what you do in case for the like couple listeners out there who don't know you?
I like to make videos and talk about video games on YouTube, on youtube.com/Petedorr. And I also am one of the hosts on the Elgin Gamers podcast. And that's about it.
Sounds good.
I just like talking about my video games, you know.
So do we. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, sometimes I need to shut up too. Like my recent pickups are so long that like I just can't help it. Like I keep telling people I just can't help it. Like I want to talk about these games.
I tell myself before every episode of games I bought recently, I'm like, okay, the goal is no more than 15 minutes, and I could just never do it.
No,
it's
I
impossible.
I can never do that.
Yeah, mine are always like 25 minutes long.
The worst is when, because I use a Flip to record, Flip HD. The worst is when the goddamn thing dies like midway through recording. And you'll see when that happens too. If you watch my videos closely, you'll see the camera shift very subtly during the video, like one of the transitions. That's when my camera dies and I have to get up and clear some shit out of there and redo it.
Yeah. And every time, like, it's like, oh, this isn't going to be that long. It's not that many games. It's like, oh, never mind. It's still long. But yeah, I guess we just want to jump into some games we've been playing recently.
Sure.
Techno can start off since he's trying to get some cramming in.
Yeah, Techno right now is playing games.
Yes, I am.
Even though we told him not to.
I'm playing Sonic and Knuckles, which I hate because I don't hate Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles is badass, but I just wish they would have... I'm playing it on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection, and I wish they would have, you know, made it to where you could put Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles together like it's supposed to be.
They didn't do that?
No. You can do it with, like, if you buy the game separately on, like, Xbox Live, but not in the collection.
Because I know for the Sonic collection on the DS you can do that.
Yeah. I heard about that, too.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Sucks.
I'm trying to remember the name of it. There was a hack. Oh, I think Sonic 2. What is it called? I'll find out the name, but it's a hack of Sonic 2 where it lets you, like Sonic 2 Heroes, I think they call it, where you can play as Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails all at the same time. So you know how in Sonic 2, Tails follows Sonic? Well, this time it's Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and you can switch between the three of them on the fly and just play through the game.
So it's pretty much Sonic Heroes, but in 2D form.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and just let everyone know, I'm on my favorite level.
So that fly battery.
Yeah, and I just killed a TechnoSqueek, so... But I did play some other games. Played some TF2. I'm getting back into that on Steam. And played a bit of Battlefield Bad Company 2 with Jason, Phantom Jest, and Metallicar. What else did I play? Oh, I did play some Sonic 2, like, right when I got home from work today. And played some Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on DS.
Wait, on the DS?
Yeah. It's like a perfect port, too. It's perfect. It's arcade perfect.
What's that for? Like, what is it on? Like, is it a game or?
Yeah. In Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
I didn't even know they had that.
Oh! Wow, I totally thought you just said Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
No.
Wow. Okay, never mind, sorry.
Yeah, it's on the original DS. It's good. And then I played a little bit of Advance Wars Days of Ruin on the DS. And played some Tales of Vesperia.
Thank God.
A little bit of that.
Good, man. How much more, like, how far are you into it? I know you're, like, at the first boss, sort of.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. And it's taking me off because I can't beat him.
He is a really challenging boss.
Now, all these games are you played in the last half hour before the podcast?
TF2 and Battlefield 2, no.
But all the rest you did, you played in the last half hour?
I did play a lot of Sonic's Pocket Adventure last week, and like kept on saying last week and week before, I need to get more games for my Neo Geo Pocket Color. And I played some Ninja Ryuken 3, which is Ninja Gaiden 3 for the Famicom.
Everyone.
Yeah. And I think that's it.
Great.
Yeah.
Go, CLiva. Go.
Oh, you want me to go next?
Sure.
Alright, what I've been playing, let me pull up my list. I always have to write these things down. What I've been playing, I put in few more hours of Tales of Abyss last time we did the podcast, and like I said last week, I really wanted to like this game, and I was gonna push through it and get as far as I can before Mass Effect 3 came out. But honestly, you guys, dude, I couldn't do it, man. I played like one more hour of it, and I came to the realization that video games are supposed to be like fun, and this game is just not fun for me. So I only played like an hour of that, and I said I had like 2 copies of this game, so I ended up trading one in or selling it back to GameStop, and I got Resident Evil Revelations, and oh my god, this game is awesome. It's beautiful. You know, like I just couldn't put it down, and I got it like I think like Sunday morning, and I played the whole game straight through. I just couldn't put it down. Like, you guys have played the demo, so you kind of know what I'm talking about. But like, it's just simply beautiful. But I played the game without the Circle Pad Pro, and I know a lot of people like kind of complain that it's like kind of hard to control, but I actually liked it because it was old school Resident Evil movement where like you had to stop and shoot, the monsters. You couldn't move around, so I actually enjoyed not having the Circle Pad Pro. But the game is amazing. I highly recommend it to like everybody. Are you guys gonna like pick this up at all?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
When it's cheaper.
Yeah. That's what I'm waiting for.
But I haven't tried the online yet because I'm just waiting for like a couple of people to, when they're not busy. I want to play a couple friends. But the only thing I kind of found a little wrong with the game is when you enter like elevators or open like doors that they take a long time. It actually like the frame rate kind of drops a little bit. Like I think the game is like loading in the next area, but you could definitely tell that the screen like jumps a few frames. But other than that, it's just a great game.
How long did that take you?
To beat it,
Yeah.
8.5.
Pretty standard.
It's not long. Like it has 12 different chapters, and each chapter is broken down to like 2 parts. So basically, each part will take you about maybe like some of them range from like 5 minutes, some range from like 25 minutes. So like they different vary, but like it's really great. And like you don't just play as like Jill or Chris. You actually play as like multiple characters. I think from the top of my head, I think you can play as like maybe 5 or 6 different characters within the story, and it's not just like one constant story. Like you have like some of the chapters you go back and you play like different flashbacks of the various people, so you kind of get some background for each character, which I really really enjoyed.
Do you ever have a choice of which character you want to play as, or is it basically like, okay, you're going to play as this character now because you're up to this point in the story?
That's exactly what you do. Like, say, like chapter 5, you play as Jill, and then once you beat that chapter, in the story, you'll meet up with this guy named Raymond, and you meet him, and then you take over as him. But before you actually take over as him in the main story, it might do like a flashback mission where you can kind of like learn more about him. So you don't get to choose the game. This is who you play. Play it now and enjoy. So, but I didn't really find that an issue. All the characters were cool to learn the history behind them. So, and so the next game I played is I actually watched your pickup video, Dan, and
Yes.
I saw this game, and you said like, oh, you can get this game off Amazon for like $5 or $6, or $7 or whatever. And I instantly went to Amazon because I heard quite a few things about this game, and this is Platypus for the PSP. And this game is it's just it's your basic, generic, simple shoot 'em up game. If you guys ever played like R-Type, you know exactly what you're getting into. But the catch of this game is the entire thing is made out of claymation.
Yeah.
And you have basic controls. You have up, down, left, right, and you have one fire button, and that's all you really need. But it sounds very simple and very boring, but it's addicting as all hell. Like I simply enjoyed it, and it's cheap too. Go to Amazon, like you said.
It's a really good game.
I've been wanting that game.
Definitely pick it up. Like Dan said in his video, it's like $5 or $6 on Amazon, brand new, and it was.
Yeah.
So, but I highly recommend it. It's just your simple, generic, basic shoot 'em up game, but
How's
it's
the
really
music?
good.
Yeah.
It's really good, and it's very, very colorful. And like I haven't played my PSP in like the longest time, and I almost forgot how beautiful the PSP looks. And this game is very bright, colorful, and I was like, wow, this game looks cool. And like one thing that I really like, when you like destroy an enemy, it actually like blows up like like if you smush clay like with your thumb or something.
And if you shoot a stronger enemy, you can slowly kind of see it deteriorating and all that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You guys need to play, if you like claymation, like the definitive claymation game. Well, one of them I haven't really played too much, and that's the Neverhood on the PC, or import PS1, but the next best one would probably be Skull Monkeys on the PlayStation 1.
Oh, yeah.
If you like that style of claymation, like an entire game made out of clay, Skull Monkeys is a must-play. Look into it. Amazing platformer.
I'll have to write that down. But
All one word.
Skull Monkeys, okay. But the last and final game I picked up, and I put about 9 hours into this game, and that is Mass Effect 3. And this game is awesome. Like, I love it. It's basically, if you guys ever played a Mass Effect 3 game and you love it, you enjoy it, you're gonna love this one. I find it better than Mass Effect 2. And I don't want to say too much because I know a lot of people are like really into this game, and I don't want to give any spoilers away. But the whole game is just, you're trying to take back the planet Earth, and the whole game is just one gigantic battlefield. And what you do in the game mainly is you're trying to like get resources and stuff like that, and collect different party members and stuff like that. So kind of like the second game, but just more involved. And there was actually two scenes already, I won't say which, that actually kind of made me like, oh shit, this is a really important decision that I gotta make, and no matter what I pick, I know I'm gonna lose something, but I'm gonna gain something. So,
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful game, and like the graphics are amazing. Like, I kind of compare this to like Heavy Rain. Like, the characters look that good, and the environments look that good. The music is also really spectacular. I definitely want to get the soundtrack to this video game. But that's pretty much it. That's all I've been playing, is those 4 games.
Yeah, and the cool thing with Mass Effect 3 is, like, with the decision factor, is that since it's the last in the trilogy, it makes those decisions that much more crucial, because it's final.
They're final, yeah. And the only problems I had with the game so far, and it's not really a problem, but it's kind of more of an annoyance, is like, say you go to a planet for a mission, and it says like, please put in Disc 2. I'm like, okay, Disc 2, I did it. Did the mission. Then you go to another planet, ask you to do Disc 1, yeah. So I'm like, do I have to switch discs after every mission? This is going to get kind of like, aggravating, but that's not always the case. I just happen to pick those missions that were on Disc 1 and Disc 2, vice versa, and stuff like that. But other than that, it's a beautiful game. Like, if you guys love Mass Effect, definitely pick this up. And I'm pretty sure you will if you like the series, so.
I played and beat the first 2. I want to get that eventually. I need to.
Yeah. But that's all I've been playing. What have you been playing, Dan?
Let's start off with the one that I keep playing, that I'm just trying to get through this game, like Final Fantasy XIII on the Xbox 360. Okay, I get to chapter 12. I'm so close to the end. What happens again? Another powerful boss. He's like super overpowered. I can't beat this guy. I'm like, oh, go figure. Another boss that just hands me my own ass. So like,
is this the final boss of the game?
No, it's not too. That's what's frustrating.
Are you serious?
Every boss seems to be like insanely powerful, except for like the last one on chapter 11. I beat him first try. It's just that, like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I feel like I'm doing it good, but
what does this boss look like?
Yeah,
you fight him once before in chapter 12. Like, he's a transforming like little winged creature. He like transforms into two states. He's got 2 states, and like one of them he deactivates limiters, and then he just like kicks your ass because he's like so powerful. It's insane. Yeah, it's insane. But I got to a point where Lightning learned, like, I guess her like final move, which uses up like the whole bar, called Army of One, which is a pretty cool move. But man, like, it's so frustrating because like I want to like the game. There's some parts where I'm like really enjoying the game, then I'll get to the boss and it just like throws me out of it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm really mixed on it. Like, there's times where I loved it, there's times where I couldn't stand it. So I definitely want to finish it.
Because my problem was when 13.2 was coming out, I didn't go back to finish 13 early enough, so like the day before 13.2 was supposed to come out, I was literally at the end of the game, like right before the final boss, and I went back to it, and I just had to fight some normal enemies in the very final area, and I was getting my ass kicked, so I'm like, screw this, I don't feel like relearning this game. So I'm like, let me just go online and see what the final boss is like. Let me see if I think I'm going to be up to fighting him. So I watched somebody's Let's Play. And let me just say that the final boss looks like it's the biggest pain in the ass in the entire game. And unless you're prepared, like, beyond belief, and you know, like, exactly what to equip and what stuff to start the battle with, you're just going to get your ass kicked. So I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it. I'm going to watch this guy beat his boss and just watch the ending of the game.
There you
and
go.
it was fine. Not worth the frustration, and I couldn't beat the game in one day, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, and the thing is, you don't even need that for the sequel because it's just like a completely different game.
No. And here, because I avoided, like, spoilers for the sequel, and then I start 13.2, and it's like, oh, okay, like, this is an entirely different story that doesn't relate. Like, they took the ending of the first game, and they're like, oh, this is what happened. And you're like, wait, what the fuck? It doesn't make sense. They turned that game on its head, and I think they went in the wrong direction with the story, in my opinion. I can't get into the story.
Yeah.
Did you beat 13.2?
No, I gave up on it. I might go back to it, but I was like 20 hours into it. I was fairly far into it, but I was getting to the point where the story seemed to be picking up, but despite that, I still wasn't that interested in the story. So, and I still don't really care too much for the monster training element. I've never been too much of a fan, except for a couple of series like Persona 4, for monster training in games. I never really liked when, except for Persona 4, where you can take monsters and like train them up and learn certain moves and then fuse them together and certain moves carry over. The only reason I don't do that is because I feel like unless I don't want to read guides for these games, but then I feel like if I don't read a guide, that if I don't level my monster up enough, I'm going to miss out on like an essential move, so I never feel like I have, you know, the right build on my monster. So it's unfortunate that I feel that way, because if I didn't, you know, it'd be fun as hell fusing the monsters together and stuff, but I've always got to like check guides, and then it's like, oh, this is the team that you should use because it's the best one in the game, and then it's like it ruins all sense of, you know, being able to customize your party the way you want.
Right.
Yeah.
So Dan, what chapter are you in?
Chapter 12.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm like halfway. I know where I'm, like, I know I'm super close to the end. It's just, I don't know, like, I don't feel like putting up that fight to try and, like, level grind.
Dan, there's 13 chapters.
Oh, well, now that's really throwing me off. Let's just say I'll take a little break from it. And especially since there's some RPGs coming out, like Grace's F comes out this Tuesday, which I'll probably be playing that.
I'm looking at the guide right now. I'm trying to find out what boss you're talking about.
He's right before
sure
the big-ass tower. Like, there's the tower, and you go to this, like, beautiful, like, environment, and you fight him twice. Like, the first time, he has, like, 2 modes. He transforms, and then one of them, he's actually easy in, like, one state, but then one state he does this move called, like, deactivating limiters, and he just punishes you. Like, it's insane.
I know what one you're talking about, yeah. I think, doesn't he fire, like, lasers or missiles?
Yeah,
or
he
like
fires
that?
lasers. He's got, like, he's really...
Yeah, I had
insane.
trouble with him, too. I think I gave up there, and I went back to the game, and I don't know how the hell I beat him when I went back. It's tough taking a break from that game, because the battle system, despite how kind of easy it is to learn, getting back into the mindset of playing that battle system takes a little bit.
Yeah, and all the paradigm rules and all that.
Proudclad is his name.
That asshole.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
The weird thing is like, I was actually, like, beating him, like, to a certain extent. Like, when he was in, like, his non-flying mode, he was actually really easy for us because he could really hardly damage us with, like, the laser beam, and, like, but, like, he gets to a point where, like, I'm about to stagger him, and he transforms, and it's like, it sets the stagger gauge back. I'm like, oh my god, screw this. And then, like, I got him, like, halfway down, and when he, like, deactivates his limiters, he full heals. So it's, like, really frustrating. He's insane, but yeah. I've been playing some more games. I played some more Dodonpachi Resurrection on the Xbox 360, and I basically played through the other modes in that I haven't touched, like Arranged Mode A and B, and beat that, and I enjoyed that. I unlocked some achievements. Always a good time. And since Techno was talking about the game, he made me want to go back and experience this game again. Tales of Vesperia on the 360. But I'm not doing a full playthrough of it again because, like, I want to wait till summer because that's kind of like, it would be a year after I played it because I want to play through the game again because it's that good. But I was just kind of fighting in the Coliseum and all that. And there's still actually a lot of stuff to do in the game, even though you beat it. Like, I still discovered, like, some new skits that I've, like, never seen before, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really neat. So that game never ceases to amaze me. And on the 360, I put some more time into Red Dead Redemption. Playing through that, I'm actually really close to beating that. I just went to a point where I had to go back into the U.S. to do some of the final missions, but I'm enjoying that game. I mean, it's not for everyone. Like, if you don't like the Wild West setting, you're going to be bored to death, but I love the Wild West setting. I grew up in Arizona, so I grew up in this kind of environment, so I like it. And I wanted to play some more of this since it's been a long time, but I played some more Skate 3 on Xbox 360, and it's not my favorite in the trilogy. Like, I think my personal favorite is still the original Skate, because the first one just felt so authentic. It felt like so smooth. The trick system felt amazing. But the third one's still good, and I like the third one because it's got the creative park, and it just kind of reminds me of Tony Hawk and all that. So. And on Xbox Live Arcade, I played a little bit more of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which was a game I just kind of casually play here and there. And I beat a couple bosses in that, and I'm really enjoying that. And weird game on the Wii, but I play some WarioWare Smooth Moves. And it's a fun party game. Like, it's one of the better party games. I like the WarioWare games. Like, I like WarioWare Touch on the DS, and it's just, just insane fun that doesn't really make any sense. And it gets really frantic as it starts to pick up.
I think if you like the WarioWare type games, you'd probably like... Have you played any of the Rhythm Heaven games?
No, but I want Rhythm Heaven on the DS.
Yeah, I think the DS one is better than the Wii one, but the Wii one's really good too. But if you like those quick, simple mini games, Rhythm Heaven is a ton of fun.
Yeah, I think I tried a demo of it, and it was actually really fun. And I've downloaded a WiiWare title because Nintendo added this, and it looked interesting to me. And that was this weird game called Art Style Clubello, and essentially it's actually a really interesting game. It's a 3D puzzle game where it's like these colorful blocks, and you like shoot, like you have to point at the screen and you shoot blocks basically. So you have to like connect 3 of the same color to make them disappear. But what's really interesting is like since it's like rotating in 3D, like it actually becomes challenging because like sometimes you'll miss the wrong shot and you'll be like, oh, I messed it up. But it's really interesting, and rotation is like, it makes you really, really think hard. Like I don't remember the last time I thought this hard for a puzzle game. I played a couple levels, and some of the levels take like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to beat when you start to get deeper into the game. It's an enjoyable little puzzle game, and that's downloadable with the new Nintendo rewards. And a game I just been absolutely addicted to for these last couple weeks, Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3 on the PS2. I'm about like 30 plus hours into it, and I've only been playing this for a couple weeks. I just got addicted. And I'm getting to the point where I'm about a little over halfway, and I just love the game. I don't know what it is, like, there's something about it, like, it's super addicting. You're making progress on a daily basis, you're fighting monsters constantly, you're fusing personas, trying to get the most powerful personas. And I love the simulation aspect of it, where it's like The Sims meets like a dungeon crawler or something. You have to manage social links in order to get stronger bonds, to power up your personas. So it's really interesting, really funny at times, the dialogue's really interesting. The characters are really bizarre later on, but it's a really fun game. Like, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, and the best part is you still have Persona 4 to look forward to, which I think you're going to like even more. The characters and the story, to me, are just leaps and bounds better than the third. I like the third, but first of all, the battle music, just, oh my god, that's one of the main reasons I couldn't get into it as much as the other ones.
Yeah.
Battle music is terrible, and some people love it, but I'm telling you, battle music is a huge factor in RPGs, because you're going to be listening to it for quite a while. And I'm sorry, but jazz music just does not fit with my RPGs. And I couldn't get into the setting and the characters quite as much. I think Persona 4 is a little bit more lighthearted as well. So,
but I love the Trails in the Sky music, and that's like a jazzy battle theme. If you think about it.
Yeah, but that one's an awesome theme. I don't know. I didn't
jazzy.
really care for the Trails battle theme at first, but they add in the piano in there and everything, and I think it works a little bit better. It's a battle theme that really grew on me, for sure.
Yeah. I love it. And yeah, I definitely want to play Persona 4 like right after this, even though I do have Persona 2 Innocent Sin on the PSP, but I feel like beating 3 and 4, and then maybe I'll be able to appreciate that a little more, because I know 1 and 2 are really more like Die Hard for the hardcore fans, because they're a little older and they take some getting used to.
Well, have you played Strange Journey on the DS?
No.
See, if you like the monster fusion elements, like if you like Etrian Odyssey,
Yeah,
just think Etrian Odyssey paired up with Persona, and that's what Strange Journey is about. Once again, though, like I was totally digging the setting in the game. It's one of the creepiest settings for an RPG I've played, but the monster fusion, once again, I got I go to game facts and I get caught up in the facts, like, what monsters should you be catching, what do you fuse, and then it gets to be too overwhelming for me, and I end up giving up.
And I played a little bit of Virtual Fighter 4 Evo on the PS2, and I like this, and the reason I like the Evo version is because it's got a special bonus mode with Virtual Fighter 10th Anniversary in it. It's just like a updated visual remake of the first one. It looks really interesting, but it's a lot of fun. Like, I like Virtual Fighter. It's very casual and very, like, weird. It's like the characters feel like they have zero gravity. It's really fun. And like CLiva mentioned, I did play a little more Platypus on the PSP, which is the claymation shoot 'em up. Just really lighthearted shoot 'em up, but it's a lot of fun, and it's really quality. You'll be surprised. It's a really interesting game that really got overlooked by a lot of people. And since we brought this up on the last podcast, I wanted to pop it in, and that's Pac-Man Collection on the Game Boy Advance. And this is an awesome compilation of 4 Pac-Man games, but the reason it's interesting is it's got 2 particular Pac-Man versions that really can't be found elsewhere. One of them is my personal favorite, called Pac-Man Arrangement, which is like this Pac-Man game involving like different worlds. Like there's 8 worlds and there's different levels. They change from world to world. There's power-ups, the ghosts combine with each other. There's like 8 total ghosts. It's really over the top, but it still like stays true to the simple 2D mechanic of it. And there's a boss fight at the end, so it's a really over-the-top, obscure kind of Pac-Man game. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And with the Super Game Boy, I casually played 2 interesting Game Boy games. The one's RC Pro-Am. It is just a fun little racer. And then the other one's a really cool game called Motocross Maniacs, which is like a really old-school version of like Trials HD, where you're a motorbike and you have to go around these tracks. So it's a lot of fun, but it gets really challenging later on.
Did you see the new gameplay? I was watching some Giant Bomb video, and the new Trials is going to be 4-player online versus, and it looks so much like Excitebike. It's ridiculous. I've never played anything but the trial of Trials HD, but I have to say I'm pretty intrigued to pick up the sequel to it coming out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have Trials HD, and it's actually really fun, like, just trying to beat some of the scores, and, like, some of the later levels are insanely difficult. Like, it's almost impossible to perfect run the later levels. It didn't have online multiplayer, so that's a really interesting addition. I'll definitely be trying to check that out. But that's actually it. So, Petedorr, what have you been playing?
Well, yesterday in the mail for my Vita, I've been playing a game called Army Corps of Hell. And this is one of the games on the Vita that's gotten some really low review scores. It's published by Square Enix. And I bought it finally because I was able to get it on eBay for half retail. I only got $20, so patience paid off. And I've actually been really happy with it. The interesting thing is some of the developers from the Pikmin games worked on this. So it has that sort of Pikmin style where you have your little minions and they walk around with you and you can send them in groups to attack the enemies, and they die off at rapid rates. But the main complaints about this game is that the graphics aren't that good, the environments are bland, which I kind of agree with, but I kind of think of it more as an arcadey version of Pikmin, like an action game. It fuses a lot of different stuff together. Like at times I get a Monster Hunter vibe, because when you kill the enemies in this game, you have to harvest their corpses to get materials to craft new weapons and armor. And it has a really over-the-top, like, heavy metal, death metal music to it. And it's just really wacky and insane to play this game with that style of music. And it's very bloody, very over-the-top. I've actually been quite enjoying it. So if any of you do end up picking up a Vita in the future, and by then this game will probably be $10, I would actually highly recommend it for that price. I also got from my Vita and started playing Unit 13, which is a new Zipper interactive game. People know me, I love my SOCOM games, well, classic SOCOM. And I figured I'd give it a try, and it feels like SOCOM, but more of an arcadey feel. It kind of reminds me of that game, The Club, on Xbox 360, because every little thing you do, you get rewarded with points and combos. And I'm convincing Josh Games of War to pick up a copy because every other goddamn person I know does not own this game. And I need somebody to play with because there's 2-player online co-op with voice chat built into the game. So he's going to be picking it up tomorrow, and we're going to play some of that, which I'm excited for. But basically, it's just really short missions. There's stealth missions. There's like run-and-gun missions where you're just trying to kill everybody as fast as you can. And it has a really big tie into online leaderboards. So every day there's a new mission that's randomly assigned, and people have 24 hours to compete for the highest score. And unfortunately, there's no versus mode or anything, just 2-player co-op, but I've been enjoying that quite a bit. Dan, did you get your copy of Hyperdimension Neptunia 2 yet?
Yeah, but I just got it today since I've been busy all week. I actually just recorded an unboxing for it.
Unfortunately, I'm not too happy with it. The first day I got it, I played it for 5 hours. And I have to say the battles are pretty fun, because they're pretty fast-paced. I sort of like the action, turn-based hybrid style of it. And the graphics are really colorful, but unfortunately everything else is kind of mediocre to pretty bad. The story, I think, is awful. I've read you don't have to play the first one to understand what's going on, but the way that they started the game off, I kind of got the sense that they basically picked up at the end of the first game, so I'm like, what the hell is going on? But supposedly, all the characters are new, and you really don't have to know the story from the first one. But I have to say, it's so far, the story is terrible. I really have no interest in what they're doing. They're trying to rescue their sisters. All the characters seem very poorly slapped together. Like, there's hardly any character development. The voice acting is, typical JRPG stuff. It's not terrible, but character portraits are 3D models now, and they are definitely not as highly detailed. I like the 2D myself, yeah. And I don't know, the music's okay. The environments are pretty bland, but bland environments don't bother me too much in RPGs. But just everything about it, I don't know, it's just not coming together for me. I still enjoy it because it is a very wacky, very different kind of RPG. But sometimes a bad story and bad characters really just... Because there's a lot of talking in this game, and there's no towns really to speak of whatsoever. Everything's menu-based, so when you're moving your character, it's only going to be in the dungeons. So, thank God the battles are decent.
Yeah. There are some improvements, but I played the first one. I really tried hard to like it because I think in some ways the first one seems a little more humorous. Did you notice in the second one, did you see a Sega logo? Is Sega a part of this one?
I haven't seen any homage to Sega yet. At all. At least not yet. There's a lot of characters in this game, so I'm thinking that one of the characters that represents Sega sort of hasn't really appeared yet.
Well, that's interesting because I was looking at the box and doesn't have any
a
rights
of
for Sega, and the first one has Sega as part of the game, basically.
That's true. Yeah, maybe they took that out.
So yeah.
I've noticed a lot of different nods though to there's some Pac-Man and Space Invaders series nods in here, and it's the premise of the game is really interesting, but I think they had a lot of lost potential with where they could have taken this.
Yeah. Like I said, I played the game for 20 hours, and I basically gave up because, kind of like you said, the first one, I was like, man, this story is going absolutely nowhere. And it's, so repetitive. You keep doing the same stuff over and over and over. But, one great addition is, believe it or not, in the first one, you had no control over your items. So you cannot use your items, or you had to rely on the computer to, so the computer has to heal you, basically, and heal themselves, so you direct them with percentages and say 80% of the time use this healing item, and that became the most frustrating thing ever. So I'm really glad you actually have some freedom.
That's very strange. I've also been playing, and you beat this game, Dan, Atelier Totori, The Adventure of Arland, and I've been really enjoying it. I'm about 10 hours in, and I didn't really get too into the first game, but this one I'm giving more of a chance, and I don't really care for the main character as much as Rorona yet. I think Rorona had a lot more character too. She was a lot more funny. You do get her as a party member in this game.
Yep.
But I really like the balance of, grinding through the dungeons and collecting synthesis materials and synthesizing. Usually I don't like alchemy or anything like that in most RPGs, but I think they really do it in a pretty clever way. And actually, I don't know if you remember, but I have a question for you in terms of the quests. Now, if you remember when you go to the guild and you go to accept quests, and it tells you the rewards, like they lay it out as like S item, A item, A item, B item, C item. I noticed that when I complete the quest, you don't get all those rewards. Like, and you get to pick like out of a pool of rewards, but all the rankings are like low. How does this work exactly?
It's based off the speed at which you complete the quest. So like whatever the dayline is, the faster you do it, the better quality of the items and that you get to choose from. So say if you're really slow, you kind of get like really low quality items. So it's kind of based around your ability to complete quests really fast.
Okay, so those rewards that they initially show you for that quest, like say the S rank item rewards. So you're saying if I do it super fast, I'm always going to get that item that's S ranked?
Yeah, or the items should be like higher quality.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering because I don't think they really explain that. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. The characters, like I said, aren't quite as funny. The graphics they're pretty good. They're not as beautiful as I thought they would be based on the initial like trailers I saw on YouTube, but it's still a pretty impressive looking game. On the PSP, and this is a recommendation for Dan, I've been playing a game called Hakuoki Demon of the Fleeting Blossom.
I was so close to picking that up like last week.
And essentially it's a visual novel where you play as a girl and you try and romance guys.
Yes. Sweet.
In a nutshell. No, but it is a visual novel, the first of its kind on a US console. And you do play as a girl and you do romance guys, but it's very downplayed. It's not really what you would think when you think of like a Japanese visual novel where, you know, you're talking to guys and trying to build relationships with them. It's actually a really heavy and dark samurai like war story. And you do have dialogue options every once in a while in the game where you choose, you know, what you want to do, and it hits pretty heavy on terms of where the story goes. And I've been enjoying it. There's some problems, like they use a lot of terms, Japanese terms, that I have no clue what they mean. And they have an encyclopedia where you can look up the words, but the only problem is, in order to get to that word in the encyclopedia, it has to load up, then you have to go to the encyclopedia, cycle through the different letters, and then scroll down and find the word, and then go back, and it just seems very cumbersome, and, you know, it could have been a hell of a lot faster. Like, say there's a word on screen, maybe press select or something, and it'll tell you right away what the word means. So some things aren't quite handled the way I'd hope, but I'm enjoying it. I'm a couple hours in. I have no idea how long it is. The only problem is it's a $40 game, so unless you're completely sure you're going to be into a visual novel, you might want to think about the purchase. But because the only problem is the music is pretty bad, and it comes with a soundtrack, and the still images are very sparingly used. Otherwise, you're looking at very bland backgrounds and backdrops and character portraits, which really aren't too animated. So the story's going to have to grip you. Other than that, that's about all I can remember. Oh, how can I forget? Do any of you really play PC games besides Techno?
Yeah, I use Steam, but I usually use play indie games.
Okay, so if you play indie games, then you have to play this game, because I think you'll like it. Have you heard of Dear Esther?
Nope.
I've heard of it.
So it's on Steam, and it's a indie game that it's actually been out for a few years, but it got a graphical update using the Portal 2 engine, and they put it on Steam, so it's sort of like this relaunch of it. And it's about a 2-hour experience, but essentially there's no gameplay to it. You just walk at a slow and steady pace through this really mysterious island, and as you walk through the game world, you get random bits of dialogue narration that's different every time you play it. So like, say I played through the game, I'm going to get totally different dialogue than, say, if you play the game, Dan, and you play through it. You might get different bits and pieces of the story that I never got. And I can't really spoil too much about what the story is about, because it's definitely up for interpretation. So it's best actually if you play this game without any knowledge of what it's about, really. and by the end of the game, you can sort of have your own take on what it means. And I have to say, it's one of those games where when you're done playing, you immediately hit up Wikipedia and like message boards and read other people's interpretations about what it's about. And I don't know, it's fun because I was reading on the boards. This one guy played through it 4 times, and he said on his 4th playthrough, he only had 2 lines of spoken dialogue. Whereas when I played through it, there was probably a good 25 spoken dialogue lines. But yeah, you wake up, you're on an island, and you're just walking through this island, and the story unravels from there. And I can't really say too much else, but it's a really beautiful looking game. And it's $10. So if you're, instead of watching a movie one night, you should play Dear Esther. And that's Dear Esther, Esther, I believe is how they spell it.
Yeah.
And, everything else I played a while ago, so I won't really go into it. But I have been watching a show, Game of Thrones. Have any of you watched this at all?
I just picked up the Blu-rays.
So amazing.
It's awesome.
What episode are you on?
Well, I've seen the entire series when it was on HBO, but I haven't opened up the Blu-rays yet, but I can't wait. As soon as I beat Mass Effect 3, I'm going to be watching that.
Yeah, because I never watched it when it was on HBO because I missed the first episode, and then I didn't really see a way, because I didn't want to download it, so I didn't really see a way to catch up. And I started watching it 2 nights ago, and the first night I watched 2 episodes, and I would have watched more, but it was already like 6 in the morning, so I'm like, alright, I gotta stop. And because it's one of those shows where they end it and you're like, oh mother,
you want to watch the
it.
next episode. Yeah.
And it's just like a medieval fantasy. It's based on the books by George R.R. Martin. The game, what is it? The Song of Ice and Fire, I think, or something like that.
Yep, Song of Ice and Fire.
And it's just an epic fantasy series based on that book. It's 10 episodes, and there's tons of love and betrayal and killing. And I went into this like totally spoiler free. I barely watched anything or read up anything on this, so I was totally taken back because I've never really watched an HBO show before by how much violence and like nudity and shit is in this series. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I started watching it because Johnny Millennium mentioned it on All Gen Gamers, and I was like, oh, I've never heard of it before. So I actually downloaded like the first 2 episodes, and then I watched the rest on HBO, and it's great. It's like 10 times better than Lord of the Rings.
I mean, it's so. I just finished episode 5 because last night I watched 3 episodes, and there's not a lot of so far. Don't give me any spoilers, but so far it's just a lot of character development. There's not like monsters and shit like all over the place, which I can see where the story's going. I can see that's probably going to be coming in the future, but the acting in this is just amazing.
So good.
Usually you can tell when a series is good when they have good child actors, and these kids are amazing.
Yeah, they're I forget her name, but it's the one with the sword needle.
Yeah. She
was my favorite. Like, she did such a great job.
Yeah. It's an amazing series, and tonight I'm gonna watch 2 or 3 episodes. It's so good. Anybody that likes Lord of the Rings or just fantasy in general, it's quite the show. Just a warning though, and I'm gonna have to warn you. This is not like a family show, so if you're kind of like one of those embarrassed young kids, okay, don't watch this with your parents, or if you have younger siblings, do not watch this with younger siblings.
Yeah, there's so much violence and nudity in it. I was like, and it's not just female nudity, there's male nudity as well.
Full frontal male nudity.
Right? Yep.
And it doesn't go by an episode without some kind of nudity, so just a warning. But I'm assuming that it's very true to the books because George R.R. Martin was a producer on the show.
I've read the first book, and the first season is very close to the book. It's like dead on. Like, reading the book, I could just picture the scenes from the TV show.
Did you read the book before watching the series?
No, I watched the series before I read the book.
Okay. Yeah, because what they're doing is the new season's starting up in April.
Yep.
And supposedly there's like 5 books out or something for this already, and there's going to be 7 of them.
I have the first 3. I'm borrowing them from my brother, but they're long, and if they're very difficult to get into, especially even after watching the show. But
It can seem that way because I can tell they're trying to cram a lot of different characters and history into the first season. Because at times it is kind of confusing, I have to admit. Exactly what's going on. Who's betraying who? Who are they talking about here? I do have a general gist of it, though. Like, I definitely understand what's happening, but at times you have to really pay attention.
yeah. And the way the books are set up, it's not just like, it's not like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Each chapter is about one person within this world, and that one person, will have multiple chapters, so there'll be like multiple chapters named after the same person. So, like, if you're trying to like keep your place, there's been so many times where I read the same chapter twice.
Wait, so are you saying like that's not the way that the show is structured though? Because
No.
okay.
The book is structured this way.
Oh, okay. So in other words, there'll be a couple of chapters on the little girl like that develops her.
I forget her name right now, but
Starts with an A. I forget.
yeah,
exactly.
like she might have chapter 2 might be about her, and that's what it's called. It'll be her name, and then you read a couple chapters, and then chapter 10 will be her name again. So it jumps from person to person. That's how the books are set up.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's cool, but it really helps if you've seen the show already, because you like. This is sometimes I've read, who is this character, until I started reading the chapter, and then I'm like, oh, okay, now I know who this person is, because I watched the show.
Mm-hmm.
But very great, and it's a very great show, and I thought it was actually kind of cheap. I got my Blu-ray copy at Target for, only $34.
Yeah, I got mine on Amazon for, $34 as well.
Yeah, it's a really cheap series, so, I definitely recommend it. If you're able to get it on Blu-ray, get it on Blu-ray.
And I forget, I think one of you watches The Walking Dead, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think so far of this season? Do you like it as much as the first season?
You know what? I do. It's one of those shows where it's over and you immediately want to see the next episode.
Yeah.
The first season I found really short. It was only 6 episodes, so I got it from Netflix, and I'm like, oh, really, 6 episodes? But it's just one of those shows that draws you in, and I love the characters. I like Glenn. Let's see who else? I like Maggie, Mitchell. There's not one character. Dale. Actually, Dale's the only character I kind of don't like.
Yeah, so you must have been pretty happy.
Yeah.
This past episode.
Oh, last week's episode? I didn't watch it yet. I missed it. So I don't know. I either had to get it off iTunes.
Did you read the graphic novels at all?
I have the first graphic novel, but that's it. There's 10 of them out right now.
I haven't read any of them, so I think I want to keep it that way because I like watching the show having no idea what's going to happen,
Yeah, because the show and the graphic novel, they're the same characters for the most part, but they're totally different. And the creator of the comic, what he does for the show is it's like alternate universes. What he wanted to do for the comic, he's doing for the show.
Oh, really?
And vice versa. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what exactly happened in the comic that he wanted to do in the show. It's not popping in my head right now, but
so essentially you're trying to say everything that happens in the comic, the characters are the same, but where they end up and what happens is completely different in the show?
Well, some things are completely different. Like Shane, in the comic, he's dead.
Oh.
But in the show, he's alive, obviously.
Right.
So, but some characters, some die, some don't, he's basically experimenting with both the comic and the show.
Which I guess is good for in a way. I guess it's good and bad for fans of the comic because certain scenes won't play out the way they thought they would, which could be good or bad. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's good comic. If you want to read the comic, then you go for it. Read it. It's not. I believe you can get the first couple graphic novels for about $10, at Newbury Comics. So they're not that expensive.
I would love to get into stuff like that, but I just don't have the room to store all these graphic novels and stuff.
Oh yeah, I got 2 complete shelves full of graphic novels, and I'm running out.
Have you been to a Comic-Con before?
No, I really want to.
You have to, like, because I'm not even really that into superheroes and stuff, but oh man, it's like sensory overload. I think you'd like it more than PAX, quite honestly. Like it's so much fun just to look around, and coming from me, you know, not really being into comics and stuff, I still loved walking around and looking at everything.
Yeah, I watch every year on, I think it's G4, they cover New York Comic Con, and I'm like, I really want to go to this.
Yeah.
So. But.
I've gone to New York Comic Con 2 years now, and I'm looking forward to going again this year. And speaking of conventions, PAX is now less than a month away.
Yeah,
PAX East.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. Oh, I really can't wait.
I mean, I'm trying not to hype myself up too much, because, you know, the time will go faster if you don't hype up stuff.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah, I know we were talking about this, I think, yesterday, and, like, I can't do it. Every time I look at the calendar, I'm like, all right, 28 more days, let's go.
The only thing I'm mad about is, like, my 2 most anticipated panels, like, the only panels I ever go to are both overlapping on the same goddamn night. And that's the Giant Bombcast panel and the Video Games Roadshow or whatever, Antique Roadshow. They both overlap on the same night. So now I've got to decide between the 2, and I don't know what I want to do.
I haven't even checked the schedules yet. I don't even know what panels are going to be there. The only thing I know I really want to go to is I want to go to the Brentalfloss concert, and I don't know about, like, I know Keith Avocary is going to be there, and
he's going to be out of character.
Yeah, okay, because, like, I heard he wasn't going to have a panel, but then on Facebook... Yeah, on Facebook he said he was going to have a panel, so I got to check out the schedule and see exactly what's going on, because, you know, I gotta plan out my 3 days, so...
Another panel that they have in there that I went to the previous time was the X-Play live show taping panel. It was pretty fun, more fun than I thought. I don't watch this show all the time, but if I'm ever... like bored and I'm watching TV, I'll flip it on, and if it's on, I'll watch it. But that's another panel worthy of going to.
But I missed that panel last year. I think I was actually at the Keith Avocary panel.
I wish I went to that one.
Which you got kicked out. I filmed the whole panel. It was hilarious. He actually got kicked out of it. So funny. But I can't wait, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of people heading down there, and I like PAX East a little bit more than Prime in terms of the layout, because it's a lot easier to navigate. PAX Prime is like a freaking maze. Like, it's ridiculous. I talked to some people because they had an entire floor with, like, nothing but indie games on it. And I talked to so many people. I'm like, did you go to the indie game floor? They're like, no, I didn't even know it was there. And it's very unfortunate. The layout of Prime is so confusing, whereas East, it's just one, like, gigantic open show floor, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I even got lost last year, but yeah.
Are you going for the 3 days?
I'm going for the 3 days, and then on the Monday, I'm actually going to go to Fun Spot with, well, I'm not with, but I'm going to try to meet up with Tim Jumble Junkie and Gamester 81, because I know they're both going. So. Yeah,
I mean, I might think about doing something like that, but I've already made plans. I'm heading up with a friend, and we're taking the train back, so I don't think he's going to want to stay there for 4 days to go up to the arcade place.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm doing so much traveling this year, so between PAX Prime, PAX East, Disney World, New York Comic Con, like, who knows, I might even have to axe go into one of them, so we'll see. I don't know. Depends.
Yeah, and there's a couple of people going to PAX that we know of. You know, obviously you, me, Gamester, Games of War's going.
Yeah.
So, I thought
Splatter Trigger,
Jumble Junkie.
Chris Bucci is going.
Yeah. So, it's gonna be awesome.
It's too bad I'm way out here. Closest I get to is PAX Prime.
You should go to PAX Prime.
I am.
That's where I'm going.
You guys should just, like, hook up with someone and, you know, take the plane in or some shit. Aren't you? Because you're right by Jason. You just go on the plane with Jason Heine.
Sneak me in your suitcase.
Yeah, that's a blast. I can't wait for that either. And it's coming up soon, for crying out loud, in August. God, it's not that far away.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, they're making a game for it though. The only reason I know is because I'm such an Atlas fanboy.
Yeah, I got the email from that for the special edition or whatever. I actually thought I didn't look into it. I thought that was going to be a downloadable game, but it's a full retail game.
Yeah, it's PS3, Xbox 360.
What kind of game is it going to be? Like an RPG or
Yeah,
something?
it looks like a typical like Western kind of RPG, like Elder Scrolls kind of game. But I don't know, it could be like more heavily based on story or whatever. There's not a whole lot out there about it. Like there's not a whole lot of in-depth videos or anything. So it's kind of up in the air right now exactly what it's like.
I'm always worried whenever a game is based on any movie or series or anything.
Yeah.
I always get worried.
Yeah.
Who's the developer, though? Do you know?
I don't know. I was kind of trying to find that one too.
Because I know Atlas is doing publishing on it, which I guess is a good sign. They might have some faith in the game. Who knows?
Yeah.
What I want to know is, are they going to have like the voice actors from the show do the voice act?
I highly doubt they have the money to pay for that.
That would be so
Probably gonna get
awesome.
sound-alikes. Yeah.
Oh, I just found it. It's in association with HBO actually in Cyanide Studio. That's interesting because it has the HBO logo on it, so it's and Cyanide Studio and Media. So Cyanide Studio sounds familiar, but I can't place it. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I've heard of it. I just can't really like that name sounds so familiar. But you want to get into some news, gaming news.
Gaming news? How about some anime news first?
Go for it.
Alrighty then. Lupin the Third is ready to steal your television. Anime Lupin the Third, one of the greatest animes ever, is returning to television with a new series. It's the first new Lupin anime series on TV in 27 years.
Jeez.
Dubbed Lupin the Third, a woman called Fujinko Mine. The anime follows the exploits of Fujinko Mine, the anime's iconic female character. The anime will kick off April 4th, and it will be a 13-episode anime. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for the fans, the longtime fans of that series, because just imagine, a series taking a break for that long and then coming back. I never watched that series before, except for Castle of Cagliostro. I love that movie. I love the characters in that movie, but I never watched the series.
I never got into either.
Yeah. It's still going, though, in Japan. But, over here it stopped, I think, after season 2. But I'm not sure. So, on to gaming news.
Yeah. Go.
Epic Games says new iPad will have more memory and higher resolution than the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Right after I get done paying off, I'm not even kidding, like, a couple of days before they made this announcement about the iPad 2, I had finally just finished paying off my freaking iPad. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to have the latest and greatest new iPad, but hell, I think the iPad that's out now is just fine. I don't know how much goddamn better it can get. It's pretty fast. The disadvantage for gamers to get the new iPad, the problem is going to be, like right now, if you download an iPhone game and you play it on the iPad, you can blow up the size of it to fit the iPad screen, and you lose some resolution, but it still looks okay. But if you buy this new iPad, the resolution is going to be so high that if you buy any of those iPhone games on this iPad, it's going to look like shit. Unless you want to play it on the native resolution, which means it's going to be like a a 2x2 square on your screen or some shit.
Yeah. Showing off Infinity Blade's dungeons on the new iPad, which will feature an A5X quad-core processor and higher resolution display. Epic Games president Mike Capps said it will feature a new crafting and dungeon system. Quote, "This new device has more memory and higher screen resolution than a Xbox 360 or PS3, unquote." So, yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, better than PS3, maybe. I don't know. I'll never buy me an iPad because I don't really have a use for it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy one, Dan?
I kind of want one just for like more college reasons because it's kind of fun to have like instead of lugging around my huge ass laptop, which is a really big laptop, it'd be easier to have like an iPad and just take that around.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like paying that much for it. I'm kind of a cheap ass sometimes, but I just don't feel like paying that much for it. And a quick note on Cyanide Studio, my hopes are not high for the Game of Thrones. I looked it up and I'm like, this sounds familiar. I'm like, let me check them out. And the reason it sounds familiar is because they're known for kind of publishing crap titles. Like they made one Xbox 360 game called Blood Bowl, which is like this, kind of cheesy, like really over the top, gory football game. But they made like these random games like Tour de France, which is like a XBLA game, Cycling Manager, these really like cheap looking dungeon kind of games. Yeah. Really low
Prepare for the
quality
worst.
stuff. Really low quality stuff for what it's in. Yeah, they made all these cycling games like Cycling 2009, 2010, 2011. Yeah, I'm not expecting that much.
That's fun. Game of Thrones.
And horse racing games. Can't go wrong with horse racing. But what
Awesome.
What other news do you have, Techno?
Well, Valve is shooting down the rumors of them making a new console.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to everyone who thought they were making a new console, you're wrong. Nothing but wrong.
You never know. You never say
What?
never. Well, a company will never say never. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Steam or Valve to do something like that.
Alright, here's what they said. Quote, "We're prepping the Steam Big Picture Mode UI." That stands for something, but I'm
Designer based.
Yes, there you go. I was brain dead. And getting ready to ship that. So we're building boxes to test that on. So all those boxes, or those like cases that people were seeing that picture of, that wasn't a console or a prototype console. That was just, what they were working on. So, yeah. No Steam box or whatever they would call it. What would you call it, Dan?
Steambox.
Steam box?
No. I mean, there's probably some licensing with the term box, but I don't know. If I picture a system from it, I kind of picture it being like on live where you can have the system and then you could create a fresh account. Like if you never had a Steam account and say you don't have a PC, you can use that as like a system, and maybe there's like some cross interface with the system and playing online. So that's why I say I wouldn't put it past them. Like I could see it being doable. You're talking about a company that loves to tease too. Like look at how long they've been teasing Half-Life 3. I mean, come on. That's why I say I never put it past Valve.
I have to say right now, I never liked the Half-Life games. Like, I couldn't get into them.
Yeah. I started playing Half-Life 2 then. I'm enjoying it. It's just I don't see what's so special about it.
Yeah, the first time I played Half-Life 2 was on the original Xbox, the port of it on there. And I enjoyed it, but I didn't really quite get into it as much as other people.
Yeah.
And then I got it on the Xbox, the orange box, and I played it on there again. I mean, I can tell it's a really high-quality series, but I couldn't quite get into it as much as the series is hyped up to be. I didn't play the first Half-Life, though, so that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, I did the same thing as you. I picked up the orange box. I picked it up for Portal. I beat Portal, so I figured I'd play Half-Life.
Perfect.
But, yeah, Portal was good.
Well worth it for just a second.
It's funny how much Portal picks up when you think about it, because I'm sure they probably packaged that for the most part for Team Fortress 2, and Half-Life 2 is probably just like an addition because it was just an HD remake, and Portal they probably thought would just be like a fun little add-on game. I don't think they ever imagined Portal blowing up until what it did.
Yeah. Because, like, whenever they were making TF2, that's what they were like, hey, we're just going to put TF2 in this collection, and when you buy TF2, you can get all these other games you can try out if you haven't, played them before. And it was, like, the best deal ever at the time. $50 for, like, what, 5 games?
Yeah.
Until people realized that Team Fortress 2 was never getting updated on the consoles.
Well, I actually bought the orange box, like an actual copy for PC, not,
I see. Yeah, the console people got screwed over.
Yep. Well, wasn't it because of Microsoft not letting them update?
Probably. I don't know the exact story behind it, but I know I played it for quite a long time, but then when the PC got its first update and it's like, yep, nothing for consoles, it's like, alright, well I guess I'm not going to be playing this much longer.
Yeah, I don't think anyone plays that anymore on 360.
I think I went on there randomly one night, months ago, just to see in there. There was one room up with 4 people in it.
Wow.
I didn't even try it.
I got addicted to that game when it first came out. Yeah. Almost as bad as PSO. But next story, or news story. Your choices will change BioShock Infinite story. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, it's gonna be awesome. Speaking to me during a phone interview last week, the BioShock creator said his upcoming shooter will feature significant choices that have significant impact on the way Infinite story goes down. Quote, I don't want to present it as a sort of BioWare level radical reimagining of the universe that you can do by making story choices, unquote, he said, referring to the development studio behind story-heavy games like Mass Effect 3 and Dragon Age Origins. But there are going to be some changes. And here's a example. Quote, I'd rather not he ain't giving us anything. He didn't say anything about it, so it's a surprise. So I can't wait for the game though.
Yeah.
I loved I've already shared my love for the first one.
I love it too.
So, are they gonna have like big daddies and like big sisters in this one too, like they did in the second one?
Oh, well, I'm not for sure, but there's this other little new story that you fight in a like George Washington robot.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. They'll probably change Big Daddies just like they did in the second one, but with big sisters.
Yeah, there's not big daddies per se, because I remember I have a Game Informer magazine with BioShock Infinite, and they showed these enemies that are basically essentially like the new big daddies, because it is a different setting, so they're not going to have like the exact same characters, but it's like this giant like golem mech guy, and he's got like this particular ability, I forget what it is though, but yeah, it's kind of like a big daddy, but it's different, like to reflect the new environment and everything.
So it's the big cousin?
I don't know what to call it. It's this huge monster or something that's hard to destroy.
No, that's cool. I was just wondering because I've heard nothing about the big daddies or big sisters, so.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't wait for it. And I'm not for sure, but I think I heard they were pushing it back, but I'm maybe wrong. Don't quote me on that.
I think I heard something like that too, but I think it was just for like a month or so.
Well,
Not as long as goddamn something I'm pissed about.
Nino Kuni.
Ridge Racer Unbounded. Well, Nino Kuni, but Ridge Racer Unbounded was literally like supposed to come out in a couple of weeks, and then they're right at the last moment they're like delayed till sometime in 2012.
So I like when they do that sometimes.
shit.
But
Yeah.
speaking of perfect games, probably one of my most anticipated games right now is coming out. It's out now for PlayStation Plus members, but it'll be out on the 13th officially, is Journey
I
on
want
the
to try that
PS3.
out.
It's getting like 10s across the board, and I was such a big fan of Flower. Same developers, that game company made it. I can't wait to play this game. It could be one of the best games out there, because it seems like it's my kind of game. They fuse in like sort of Demon Souls type multiplayer where it randomly pairs you up with players and you have no form of communication with them, and you have to try and work together to play. I'm interested in playing that.
I thought you were gonna say The Last Guardian.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of like, whatever. Whenever it comes out, I'm ready. It's going to be delayed for a while. It's probably not coming out this year. With the
Probably
fiasco
not.
that's going on with that game.
I think a lot of people are feeling that way. It's like, yeah, it'll come out whenever.
Honestly, at this point, I'd rather the game actually comes out than get canceled. And to be completely honest, if this wasn't The Last Guardian, Sony would have had this game canceled, probably. The fact that they're bringing in... Now, this is the only part I'm scared about. Like, developers from, like, the US and Europe, like, they're bringing in different members from, like, around the world to help them work on this game. I'm wondering if it's really going to end up being what Team Eco had originally imagined it to be. I'm kind of scared. You know, Western influences on a Japanese studio? Like, how is this... I mean, maybe they're not... who knows? They're probably bringing in developers that just help with game mechanics, like just fine-tuning. I don't think they're going to be bringing in people to be like, hey, you know, this character should say this. I don't think it's going to be that drastic, but you never know.
We got a rumor about Uncharted Golden Abyss.
A concrete rumor.
What, that
Yes,
they're going to
they're
patch out all the goddamn motion controls? That would be good news.
No, I'm sorry, Pete. That's just things happening.
It's like the DS. You just gotta get used to it.
Yeah. But a rumor that it's going to get a card-based multiplayer.
Oh, that would be awesome. Wait a minute, hold on. A card-based multiplayer? Wait,
Yes.
Now, do you mean trading card game, or do you mean that you have to buy a physical copy of a game card to play multiplayer?
Right now, the pictures here. I'll send you guys the link. It looks like it's just gonna be like a digital, like on the. But I'm not for sure.
Like Ass and Cave versus Capcom Card Fighters.
Yeah, something like that.
What the? Oh my god. I mean, it could be cool, but it's a freaking trading card game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what? Maybe this is for the better, because I've never really been able to get into Uncharted multiplayer online on the PS3. So maybe this could be like the next new addictive thing. And, you know, I have one of those addictive mindsets where, you know, you gotta catch them all. So if it's anything like Pokemon trading card game online, could get dangerous. And in Sony's mindset, I know they're gonna be like selling online digital booster packs, and because that Pokemon trading card game online, I got a little too deeply sucked into that. Like, I went insane with that crap. I was buying digital cards like a little too much, I guess you can say. I spent quite a bit of money on that game. You're supposed to go to the stores and buy the physical cards and like codes, but I was going on eBay and buying just the codes by like the bucket load. I spent like $500 on.
Oh my god!
Not something I'm completely proud of, but at the time, it was really fun. It was fun building up my online decks and making like different builds and stuff. Because I've always wanted to play Pokemon like versus like the way you're supposed to play it, and since I don't know any friends or want to get involved with any real life cliques of people that play it in real life, this is the next best thing.
You know what? I was always wondering, like, how did you do that? You bought it on eBay, and they just email you the code, or?
They email you the codes, and then you just go on the website and you input the codes, and then you get booster packs online.
Okay, because I couldn't imagine like them sticking a whole bunch of like wrappers in an envelope and mailing them to you.
Some people do mail the actual code cards out. They refuse because they're too lazy. They're to type out the codes in an email. They just mail you the cards, which is what I've done with some sellers, because you tend to get those a little cheaper. Because most people don't want to be bothered having to type in the game card codes.
I just always wondered that, so.
It's still in beta. When that comes out of beta, I'll be making my return to that for sure. Because there's a lot of bugs. Like, I would make decks and they wouldn't work at all because a certain card wasn't functioning the right way. So once that's out of beta and you can invite friends and chat in the chat rooms and, you know, do stuff like that with your friends, I'm totally going to be on that every day.
Did you guys see the Kid Icarus Uprising AR cards?
I've heard of them.
Oh, yeah.
Can you battle them against other people?
I have no idea. I'm looking at a picture right now, so I don't really know anything about it. I'll send you the link. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you can see the cards. But they look like they come in like booster packs and stuff.
I don't even like Nintendo's Facebook page, so I can't see it.
Oh.
Maybe I should like Nintendo. Huh?
Like them.
Alright, let me see.
Oh, I see it. Oh, yeah, it is like a booster pack.
Yeah, it's like a booster pack or something.
It's like the e-reader all over again. Yay.
Yeah.
I love the e-reader. Like the only person who liked the e-reader.
No, I had one. I just never knew how to use it.
Scan it like a credit card, but you gotta scan it slow. Like people do it fast. It's like a credit card. You gotta do it slow.
So, oh, they look kind of cool.
So it's gonna be physical cards sold in the stores.
That's what it looks like, but...
Series 1, wow, they're really planning this stuff out long term.
It's gonna get dangerous.
It looks like they're just for collecting purposes, but if they're really cool where you can... Because supposedly every card, you can put it together and to battle another card. Like that, I'd imagine that might be a novel little fun idea.
I can see they could easily do that with the Pokemon.
Hell, if they start bringing out, like, I doubt they can do this with the cameras, but if they bring out, like, super rare foil cards,
Oh, all.
I'll be buying that shit.
Man.
That's good for Nintendo. They're combining what they used to do and used to specialize in making cards and video games.
The online in the new Kid Icarus game, though, looks pretty damn fun, I have to say.
Oh,
I was a
yeah.
little worried about the single player, but the online is, like, a for sure must-buy now for me.
Are you guys reserving that game at all?
No. No.
Because I mentioned this a few episodes ago. If you reserve it at GameStop, they give you that the 3D classic of Kid Icarus for free.
Sorry, I'm too loyal to Amazon. Like,
Yeah,
GameStop,
me too.
I'm so spoiled with Amazon's day one release date delivery, like, I can't deal with anything else.
That's fine. I'm just letting you know. Make your own choices. So. But I can't wait for that game. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm more excited for the Mario Tennis game, though, coming out on 3D.
That'll be fun with
yeah.
multiplayer.
Player online? Oh, God.
Dude, that was one of my favorite games on the N64.
I liked on the Game Boy Color. I used to play that so much.
I can imagine the fun shit-talking times that's going to go on that.
It's like Mario Kart all over again.
Because unlike Mario Kart, you, like, always have your opponent on screen, so it's not like,
Yeah.
you can relax in the front of the line. Like, you're always going to have your competition staring you in your face, so...
There's one thing I want to say about Mario Kart. Have you guys played that recently?
No, well, not really.
Oh man, because I went on the other day because Holly asked me to play.
What, is
And
that guy still camping the room?
Okay.
Yes, he is, but that's not what I wanted to rant about. You know the thing with the 30 days you lose the points.
Yep.
Oh my god, I was so mad. I went from 2,500 points to 315
Jeez.
in 2 days. I'm mad, dude.
What?
Yeah, you must have played a lot last month, and then you just lost it all.
Yeah.
It happened to me, too. Like, I went on, and I had, like, 400 points. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
There goes that.
Yeah, 2,200 points gone in like a matter of 3 days. I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh, well, it's not that I'm mad about it because I knew it was happening, but it's.
Well, I mean, if you look at it this way, most people, when it comes to games like that, don't play them more than a month. I mean, look at us. We don't really play it as much as we used to. So for the first month, it's like, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, it gives people like who do not have a lot of points something to shoot for. If like all they really got to do is wait 30 days, then what's the challenge? But I don't know. It's nothing to get overly pissed about, but it is kind of annoying.
As long as I still have my permanent records of who I beat, that's all I need. I always get joy in looking at my record against CLiva.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
I never checked that.
I think one time you actually told me how many times you beat me, and it was like 500. I'm like, really?
It's probably that.
Yeah. So what are the news stories you got?
I got 2 more.
Go for it.
Alrighty. Sounds like some customers of online retailer Newegg who pre-ordered a copy of Mass Effect 3 didn't get what they paid for. They got a game delivered on time, only it was Madden 12.
I would be fucking pissed.
Oh man, that would piss me off.
Like,
Especially for the hardcore Mass Effect fans.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. They sent out an email to everyone that bought the game and was like, hey, if your, purchase isn't really Mass Effect 3, we're sorry. They'll have a customer service representative contact the person at the phone number they provided, and they'll arrange a replacement. So that's all good.
And this was Newegg?
Yes, Newegg.
Wow.
Yeah, I would never thought Newegg would do something like that.
No, they're pretty fast and reliable too.
Yeah. But that is funny as hell.
They both start with M's. They probably had like the piles like right next to each other or something. Madden and Mass Effect.
Yeah.
It's like, oops, wrong ones.
Did they get to keep the Madden games?
Yeah, they might as well let them keep it. It's gonna be like $10 in a couple months anyways.
Yeah.
I'm guessing not because
you probably have to send it back.
Yeah. Because it says arranging advance returns that they require a credit card number to be on file and, you know, all that funny shit. Alright. Last news stories, or of mine anyways. It's an update on the Capcom, Sega, and Namco Bandai on the 3DS. The site that, here, I'll give you guys the site if you didn't see it last time. There's these double helixes below their company names, and on Sega's, below Sega's, there's this one where the two top is green, and then whenever they cross it's blue, and then down at the bottom it's red, I believe, or I'm colorblind, so I mean, that I'm kinda thinking Sonic, because, you know, the green, or the eyes are green, the body's blue, and his shoes are red, but I don't know about any of the others.
What are these things? They look like little amoebas.
That is weird. It's like DNA strands or something. Those are just like three really random companies that I like never see getting together.
Yeah, I have no idea.
You know what it'll be. It'll be Street Fighter cross Monkey Ball cross Pac-Man.
Cross Sonic.
Sega has Virtual Fighter, though. Oh, yeah! I got one quick other news story. Virtual Fighter's Akira will be in the new Dead or Alive 5.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Yeah. So, I'll be getting, like, whenever they made 4 and released it, they were like, that's done, we're done with Dead or Alive, and I was like, I don't think so. So, yeah, Dead or Alive 5. And it looks amazing.
Yeah. I've seen a trailer for it.
Yeah.
It looks great. What about you, CLiva? Any news?
Yeah, I got two. Let's see. One I got is, Fable Heroes has leaked thanks to Xbox.com. Lionhead confirms release. Xbox.com slipped up over the weekend, revealing a new Xbox title, Fable Heroes, a spin-off of the Fable universe. It appears to be a 4-player brawler in the style of Castle Crashers. Characters have a sort of stock monkey aesthetic with bright colors. There are some tie-ins with some characters resembling previous characters from past Fable games. There will be ways for users to compete against each other and collect coins by defeating enemies. These coins can unlock upgrades, characters, and items in-game, and also in a Connect title called Fables: The Journey. I don't know, but honestly, I'm not really excited about this. I didn't even play Fable 3.
I tried Fable 2. I didn't care for it.
I didn't even play Fable, period.
Really?
Yeah. Something about that Fable world just does
Yeah,
not appeal to me.
The art style is what really threw me off. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
care for the art style at all.
I don't like Renaissance, like, mixed with fantasy. It just looks too weird to me.
Yeah.
I played the second one and I actually really enjoyed that one, but I've never played the first or the third one. Just never got around to it, but this one just looks like a dumbed down cutesy wootsy version of the same
Yeah.
Xbox Live Arcade game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that the third one was a lot better than the second. I only played the first one and Lost Chapters, which was on PC. And yeah, I saw video of 2 or gameplay of 2, and I was like, because you could like shoot down a beam of light and it would tell you where you need to go, and I was like, that's not what Fable really is.
All I know is I played like the first dungeon and, and that was it. That's like all I ever played. I gave up.
But see, the other news story I got right here, and this one's kind of big, and some people are kind of pissed off about this. Street Fighter X Tekken characters can be accessed, or they're already on the disc, the DLC characters. Over the weekend, it has been discovered that the forthcoming downloadable content for Street Fighter X Tekken it already exists on the game itself, meaning that the purchasing said content actually boils down to simply unlocking it. Some fans were riled by the revelation enough so that Capcom has issued a statement on the matter. According to the publisher, the DLC was placed on the disc in order to save hard drive space and to ensure a smooth transition when the DLC is available.
So then what the... How the fuck is it DLC if it's already on the disc?
You know
Like,
what?
Didn't they already do this once before or twice before? Or?
Yes, they did this for Resident Evil 5 and
Oh, God.
old Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with Jill and Shimagura. They were
not
on
a-
this.
Oh yeah.
It's not DLC. It's
It's on the
unlockable
disc.
content that you're paying for. That's so,
Yeah.
so messed up.
I don't know, like, I don't know what to feel about this. Like, I can understand, you know, it, like, to save hard drive space, I can understand that. I can understand, like, you know, if some characters, I don't know, I can understand the save hard drive space, that makes sense, but, like, if these characters are on the fucking disc, give it to people who buy the disc for free. I don't understand
Yeah.
this.
And people found the characters, you know, that are PS3 only, or the Pac-Man and Mega Man on 360.
Yeah, they're on the 360 discs as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This thing is so fucked up. Like, I really don't understand this thing. Because the 12 new characters are going to be Blanca, Cody, Dudley, Elena, Guy, Sakura, and the Tekken characters are going to be Alyssa, Brian, Christy, Jack, Lars, Lee Wu Wong, and those are the 12 new characters. And I don't know, like, I can understand like DLC. Like, if you buy DLC for, like, what's a
Mass
game?
Effect.
Like Mass Effect, yeah, you know, they came out with day one DLC. You know, that's fine. You can buy that. You know, that's an extra mission, extra character. That's fine. You can choose to do that. But, like, for downloadable content, like, for, like, fighters or for first-person shooters that are already on the disc, I don't understand why you have to pay for that stuff. Like, it's not like, I don't know, like some people say, like, you know, the company says, like, okay, this content is worth $60. Okay, that's great for a game like Mass Effect. You know, $60 for the main story. That's great. You know, and if you want to pay the extra $5 for the main mission, If it's on the disc, you know, that's totally up to you. I can understand that. But, like, for first-person shooters or fighters, you know, like, how could you value that as $60, you know, if it's already on the disc?
It's a bunch of shit.
It's weird. I just miss the days when, you know, like I said, you used to play games like really weird to unlock new characters and stuff. Like, beat this game on hard with like all the characters, and now it's just like buy it. And there's-
So, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, if you think about it, like, if you take, like, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, right? That game had 48 characters, okay? For $40, okay? Now, Street Fighter X Tekken, if I'm talking the Xbox 360 version, if you take that game, it has 38 characters, and you're going to be paying $60 for this game. But now, they have 12 characters already on the disc that you have to buy for DLC. How much are they going to charge for these 12 characters? Are they going to charge $5 for each character like they did with Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Well, if they did that, that's an extra $60.
yeah.
So you're going to be...
Jesus Christ.
So this game, say they are $5. For this game to have a complete total of 50 characters, you're going to be paying $120. Where Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom has 48 characters for $40. Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all.
And the sad thing is, people would still buy it.
Yeah,
You know what?
Still gonna buy
You know what? That's the thing. Like I will not buy a brand new Capcom game. I'm actually, like, before the podcast even started, I'm bidding on Street Fighter X Tekken for the 360 used. But, like, I will do this. Like, you know, like, I will probably buy all these characters. You know why? Because I'm huge into fighters. I want this game. I want all the fighters. And I know, of, like, a couple people I know. Tim will probably do the same thing. I have a friend who will do the same thing. He'll buy all the characters. You know, no matter
And that's
how...
exactly why they're doing it.
I know.
Because of people like you. You know?
Well, it sucks because one of the characters I really, really want to play as, and I wanted to play as her since Street Fighter IV, was Elena, and I'm getting her now, but I have to pay for her. And, like, I don't understand that. If she's on the disc, give it to me for free, because that's the character it's one of the characters I'm buying in the game for.
Wait, who's Elena?
She's the shit, what's her fighting style? She's from Third Strike. Her fighting style's like Kappa. It's that dancing fighting style.
Wait, wasn't she in
She's in Third Strike.
Super Street Fighter 4?
No.
No?
She's from Africa. She wears
Oh!
she has white
Yeah,
hair.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Dude,
I forget her fighting style. It's like Kappa something. But yeah, she's one of the characters I really want. But I really hope they do like a package deal, like maybe all 12 characters for like $15, because then, well, still you're gonna be paying for like a total of 50 characters for $75. But still, that's better than $5 for each character.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Capcom is really trying to win back its fans lately.
You know what?
They try hard.
They're really not. Like, I just... It took me a long time to get Resident Evil Revelations used, because they do not deserve my money, I swear to God. They just don't. But I don't know. Like, you know, the thing is, like, I know there's going to be, like, a lot of people, too, that are going to be, like, listening to this podcast, and they're going to be like, oh, CLiva or Quick Freeze 4, he's being a fucking idiot. And I'm like, you know what, I'm not being an idiot, because I did the math, you know, like, this makes sense. Like, I can understand it from, like, Capcom's point of view as a company, they're trying to make money, but, like, I'm looking at it more as, like, you know, the individual, the gamer, like, how much are you going to fucking pay to get all these characters? It's crazy. When they should be for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my total rant. So
Capcom rap.
Well, see, I'm like you. I like to have all the characters because I usually bring my consoles over to friends' house, to a friend's house, and I want them to have the full experience and not just not have like I said whenever Mortal Kombat came out, the new one or 9, and I buy Rain, Kimchi, Freddy Krueger,
yeah,
Scarlet.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I think they should do, they did this for Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and they probably did this just because it's on the Wii, and the Wii doesn't really have DLC, is Tatsunoko versus Capcom had 4 unlockable characters, where if you beat the arcade mode with certain characters, you unlock these new ones. I don't know why they
That's what I'm
cannot...
saying.
Yeah,
That's why I missed it.
That's how it used to be back in the day, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, you unlock stuff, I don't...
Probably because they knew that not enough people utilize DLC on Nintendo's consoles. So they're like, we won't even bother. Or maybe Nintendo didn't let them do something like that.
Well, Nintendo is not into DLC as much, so I can understand why they did the unlockable thing, but, I don't know, it was so much fun unlocking all those characters.
Exactly.
Little do they know that they're losing replayability. Because there's basically... They're losing out on a lot of unlocks that people are going to want to get. But, hey, they look at it as... Most people are buying these games for the online, and if they want to be competitive, because the scene for competitive fighting games right now is insane, they know that these crazy competitive players are going to buy at least a few of these characters, if not all of them, and why not double their profits instantly?
Yeah, I was actually watching the Street Fighter X Tekken live stream last night, and...
Oh, me too.
Just watching this thing, it makes me really want to buy this fucking game. Even more. But it's one of those games where, if you love fighters, you definitely gotta fucking buy it. But paying 12 characters, is, I don't want to do that.
I'm past that point now where I just don't buy fighting games really anymore, unless it is like a Smash Brothers that's going to come out in 20 years from now, by the time they get that 3DS version out. But Street Fighter 4 cemented the deal for me that I just don't really like them as much anymore, because the online, unless you spend your life playing those things, it's too aggravating online.
Well, that kind of brings up a point. What if, the new Smash Brothers game for the Wii U and the 3DS, what if that has DLC characters? Would you buy all those?
I'd buy all of them.
Yeah, see, there you go. There you go. He just said he'll buy all the characters for that game, and that's the same thing what people are doing for Street Fighter X Tekken. It's the same thing. But, I don't know. It's I don't know.
Just like with Mario Kart, they're in the talks of doing DLC for that. Every track, every character. Well, maybe not every character because I love my Shy Guy, but every track I'd buy it.
It's the same thing. They know how to make money off these games, and they know people are gonna buy them. Are people gonna be happy buying them? Yes and no, but people.
Well, in the case with Mario Kart, where they're obviously not putting it out day of release. It's true DLC. In that case, to bring new life back in the Mario Kart. I know if they come out with track DLC, everybody's going to start playing it again.
Yeah. And that stuff is not on the card.
No.
So. Oh man, could you imagine if it was?
It's hidden in there. Yeah, I remember unlocking all the characters too for Tatsunoko. There's actually 5 characters from what I remember.
5?
Yeah, there's 3 for Tatsunoko, and one of them's really hidden, but I think it's June the Swan. And I remember unlocking.
Oh, let me get my game. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh no, the hidden one I think is Yatterman 2. It's the girl one.
Yeah, I know it's Yatterman 2. I got my game right here. I got them all. I wrote down all the moves for the secret characters. There's actually
Tekkamon Blade, Yatterman 2,
Tekman
Swan.
Blade. Here they are. Tekman Blade, Joe the Condor, Yatterman 2, Zero, and Frank West. So there's 1, 2... There's 5, yep.
Yeah.
So, I think that's how they should do it, but...
Yeah. Oh, well.
I don't know. Alright, but that is my rant. I know people are going to totally disagree with me, but...
No, there's a lot of people out there who kind of feel the same about Capcom.
Well, like, I even asked a friend at work, and, like, I was like, well, forget about the fighters, and just say, like, say you bought, like, he's playing that Hyperdimension game that you guys were talking about, and I asked him, like, okay, what if that game had DLC on the disc? Would you,
sure.
like, he immediately said, well, I should get it for free.
Yeah.
Because it's on the disc. And, like, with him, like, I already said, like, if it's, like, an RPG and you get your full money's worth out of the main story for $60, then you choose to buy that DLC that's already on the disc, I can understand that. But the, like, fighters and first-person shooters, these are competitive, you know, like, you know, if you don't have these new characters, you know, you're not going to be as good, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And that's how people are going to look at it. I don't know, does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You guys were being quiet, so I'm like...
Yeah.
I would just look at it more as, you know, you don't know if those characters are going to fit your playing style, so you want to buy them and try them out just to see.
Well, look at, like, Blanca, man. He's been in, like, Street Fighter since Street Fighter 2. Why would you make him a DLC character?
Because they know people are going to want to play. Like, the Blanca players out there know that they want to play as him, so they know they got a solid sale right there that people are definitely going to buy him.
Yeah, but that's wrong. That's so wrong right there.
Wrong for our standpoint, but right.
Yeah, you're looking at it from two different angles.
But
And
that's like making a Mario Kart. Like, let's say Mario Kart 8 has DLC characters and they make fucking Mario DLC. You know, that's what it's like.
Ryu or Ken or
oh my god,
Chun-Li or, you know, all the well-known
Maybe in the
ones.
future, maybe they're gonna release, like, let's say Street Fighter V is gonna release at retail for $20.
Oh,
but all the
DLC.
characters are DLC, so you get to pick what you want.
oh,
and they're $10 each or something.
they're already a friend of mine already told me. I don't know if this is true or not, but he already told me that Capcom is working on Street Fighter V.
I'm sure they are.
Ranking out fighting games.
Oh, it's so crazy. But
They need to make another Darkstalkers.
I think they are. They are, yeah.
I read an article, like, one of the latest rumors, or one of the latest, like, findings, I forget exactly what it was, but it's pretty evident that they're probably making the game.
Yeah, and you get 2 characters, and then the other 39 you have to buy.
Yeah, just like the first Street Fighter. You can only be Ryu or Ken.
Oh,
But-
yeah, well, that was back when DLC didn't even exist yet.
Well, yeah, but
I know what you're talking about, though.
you can all thank Sonic and Knuckles for DLC.
The old school DLC.
Yeah.
It's funny.
No. Because, like, I was honestly thinking about buying, like, 3 copies of that game.
Which game?
Street Fighter X Tekken.
Mm.
Because, like, I know, like, for the Xbox, it's going to be, like, all my friends are going to be playing it. The online is going to be smooth. But then,
PS3 has the characters.
PS3 has the Mega Man, the Pac-Man, who I also really want to play as. Okay. And then,
are they adding in a proper Mega Man?
I hope not.
Oh, like, besides that fat one?
I think it's just the fat one.
Yeah, I so love that.
But, and then, like, I kind of, like, when I actually get a Vita, I want to get it for the Vita.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was talking to Games of War, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably get a Vita when that one game comes out that makes me want to buy, and I was kind of thinking Street Fighter X Tekken would be that game. Alright, well, that's all my news stories and my ranting, so...
Yeah, I think I'll be buying a Vita come summertime.
Hopefully. I'm saving up for PAX Prom.
And we'll take a short break.
What time is it, Techno?
It's question time!
Dear Lord.
Dear Lord.
That thing is so... Every time.
Every time.
Alright, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, a couple questions. I'm not gonna count them. Let's see, our first question comes from Lenny Smith, and he asks, what do you guys think about the new Xbox and PlayStation systems coming out, and what should they add for features for these new systems? I think he's talking about the PS4 and the Xbox 720.
The XPS4?
PlayStation 4.
I don't... Hell if I know.
I don't know.
Not enough details. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you know, like, what features would you want for them?
To play my games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would...
Backwards compatibility would be
full on.
nice.
Yes,
Full
yes.
on backwards compatibility.
Some nice stable online. You know, get rid of that crummy like loading screen for every goddamn little thing you do on PSN.
Oh, God.
Oh, I want to check my friends.
Loading.
Loading. I want to check my trophies.
Loading.
Loading. Syncing. It's like, come on.
Oh, and for the PS4, cross chat.
Cross game
Oh,
chat. That
yeah.
would be
They
nice,
need
yeah.
that.
It's on the Vita, so it's probably inevitable it'll be on PS4.
Yeah.
Maybe like cross video chat, where like in the corner of the screen you can like drag around like little pictures of people like video chat. That would be strange though.
There'll be some weird stuff happening. I'm gonna trust some people.
Like Final Fantasy, like an MMO or something that would work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like a little webcam chat playing Final
Dude,
Fantasy.
that'd be pretty cool.
I honestly can't think of any features I want to add to these systems. Except maybe add a Blu-ray player to the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll probably do that too.
Didn't we have a story on the or
Maybe, but...
later episode about them going Blu-ray?
I think so, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
But... I don't know, we'll see. Let's see. Alright, the next question is from Playlives, and he says, I noticed a nice complete copy of Barney for the Sega Genesis in Pete's latest game room. So I was wondering, what is the one game you own that you are ashamed to own? Mine would be Final Fantasy XII.
Hey, mine's too. No,
Really?
I didn't care.
I'm not really ashamed to own any games. That one there was sent to me by somebody, so I can't really just like throw it out or get rid of it. But I'd probably say the things I hate most in my collection are loose games that are for like handheld, or loose CD games that don't come with their original case, or greatest hit games, but only the greatest hit games that are like a sore, like they stand out, like PS1 greatest hits, or like a greatest hit on the PS2 or something. Like I just can't stand those.
I can't stand GameCube greatest hits.
Well, yeah, I don't find those that bad because those are actually probably the best ones. It's just like a little bar of yellow.
Well, the PSP great, like
I avoid
I
those
forget
at
what they
all
call it.
costs.
The PSP ones aren't too bad because they just have like a little bar. It's like, oh, whatever. I don't even think I have one, but they don't look
Is
too
it,
bad.
the
Or the
PS3 ones have that red case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
N64 games aren't that bad either. Just the emblem, and they change the coloring a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I'm going through my games. I can't even find a game I'm ashamed of.
For me, I just think of like these really random sports games that I have. But,
Oh god, yeah, I hate that.
I'm
I'm thinking of just like throwing them all out.
yeah.
I now own the hideous Pac-Man for the Atari 2600.
Dude, fuck you. I love that
It's a
game.
masterpiece.
No, it's not.
Dude, I love that game. Shut up.
I hope you're kidding.
No, I'm not. I love Pac-Man.
On the Atari 2600?
Dude, when I first got my Atari 2600, I played all the games like that day, and Pac-Man was the one I played the longest.
Shit.
I'm not joking either. I love it. I'm trying to find a game. I guess one game I'm ashamed of is Tales of Abyss. Hate that game.
Yeah, you've convinced me not to buy that game anytime soon.
It's just a game that's not for me. You know, games are supposed to be fun, and I just couldn't get into it. But
It's a game that's slow to develop. Like any Telltale game, they're really good at developing characters. It's just with Abyss, it takes so long for them to develop the characters. But in the later part, they will make you care for Luke. Like, regardless, every Telltale game makes you care for the characters. That's just something they're really good at, is character development. But Abyss is just incredibly slow.
Oh, okay, I found my game to answer this question. Hannah Montana, the movie,
Gotta be proud of that.
for the Xbox 360.
Oh my god.
200%.
Actually, that's why I bought it, because
It's so easy.
It was easy achievements. But yeah, I got Hannah Montana, the movie, for the Xbox 360. And I beat it.
What about those Burger King games?
No, I don't have those.
They're so bad, they're good. Sneak King is, like, out of this world. They're really not that bad for, like, couple buck games. Like, Big Bumpin', that's pretty fun online when people were... And that's the game that got me out of achievement points. Because I'm like, what am I wasting my time playing? Because when I was still into achievement points, I used to go to those, like, Xbox 360 achievement websites where you'd hook up with people to get online and get achievements.
Yeah.
And I needed achievements in Big Bumpin'. That's like the cart, I forget what you call
like
it, cart bumping.
bumper car?
Cars, yeah. So I hooked up with like this one guy, and one of the things was like score 200 points or some bullshit, and like score 200 goals in an online match. But it was so hard to score the points in that game, because you'd go to score and like it would bump off the goal, or the other guy would hit it, or it was just so hard, and I was on it for like 3 hours.
To get like a 5-point achievement.
To get like 5 points, and I was like, I'm done. And I never cared about achievements ever again.
See, I got Kung Fu Panda for the Xbox 360. But I actually enjoyed that game, so...
That game's supposed to be decent, actually.
Yeah, it was actually really fun. And I got a perfect achievement score on that one, too. That one's actually really fun. It came with, it was like a double one, too. I think it came with, like, a Lego game.
Yeah.
Like one of the Lego games. Oh, Lego Indiana Jones. That's what it came with. But my answer would have to be that Hannah Montana one, so... Techno, did you answer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you shitted all over me for my...
Oh, Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Just 'cause... Sorry, man. Pac-Man rocks.
I do like the arcade version, but not 2600.
Alright. Okay, our next... we got 2 questions from Brent, and he asked, favorite Sonic game?
Sonic 2.
Yep, Sonic 2.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Da, da, da.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, Sonic 2.
Okay. Alright, his second question is, what got you into RPGs?
Oh, that's easy. For me, Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo.
I don't think he's asking what game got you into RPGs, though.
No, that is how I got into RPGs. I just like randomly bought a game that didn't know what the hell it was. Took it home and I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, oh, it's an RPG.
I remember hating Super Mario. Like, before I got into RPGs, I remember renting Super Mario RPG, and I didn't understand. Like, I didn't like it at all. And, like, playing Pokemon back in the day, I didn't really realize I was playing an RPG.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Final Fantasy VII where I really grasped, like, what a true JRPG really was, and fell in love with it.
See, for me, See, my first RPG was, or one of them was, Shining Force 2 for the Sega Genesis, and that I actually enjoyed the battle system a lot in the animation when they went into battle. That's what I really liked about that. But mainly I like RPGs for the story, and Secrets of Evermore and Final Fantasy III or 6 for the Super Nintendo. That's what drew me in for the story. And every RPG now, I can, if it's a great story, I'll get enthralled in it. So that's what I try to go after, is the story in RPGs.
And just to clarify, I revisited Super Mario RPG years later and fell in love with it, so just don't want people thinking I hate Mario RPG.
No, that's a great game.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Techno?
Well, like Pete said, I didn't know what the hell I was playing when playing Pokemon Red. So, man, I didn't really play a RPG or fell in love with RPGs till much later. Probably, I'd have to say Golden Sun. I mean, I played, like, Kingdom Hearts, but I'm thinking of turn-based ones. I mean, I played Final Fantasy 1 way back in the day before Pokemon, and I was like, what the hell am I doing? And, yeah. Oh, I played Dragon Warrior, too. And was just, like, going around stabbing shit.
That game pissed me off, Dragon Warrior.
Yeah. So, I'd have to say Golden Sun.
Cool. Okay, next question is Gaming Pegasus. He asks, if you could create an RPG, what would be the game setting, battle system, and title?
God.
I would make, like Panzer Dragoon, I would make a Res RPG, where it's an on-rail shooter just like Panzer Dragoon, where the battles sort of take place, like, I guess semi-turn-based, in a way, in the Res universe, like all techno music and, like, the really colorful, cel-shaded type graphics. And, yeah, I'd make a Res RPG, screw it.
What would your title be?
Res 3.
Res 3.
Res RPG.
Res 3.
Yeah. Res PG.
Res PG.
Let's see. For mine, mine would definitely have to be turn-based, because I absolutely love turn-based. But mine would probably be set in, like 80s cartoon, like, lore. Like, I would want, like, making me, like, He-Man on my team, a Ghostbuster on my team. Maybe just, like the story, maybe, like, some kid gets sucked into a TV, while watching an old 80s cartoon, and he ends up teaming up with all these 80s cartoon characters and just battling.
You should get into RPG Maker on the PC so you can make it yourself.
Oh, you know what? Now that you mention, I actually wanted to get into the RPG Maker on the PlayStation 1.
No, you can't do those. Like, I tried that. I enjoyed it myself because it was so, like, such a crazy idea, and it was fun to play around with. But it's so impossible to, like, fully commit to making a game on there. The PC would be so much easier because you could, like, easily import your images in and make your superhero team, and then just distribute it to friends.
But, yeah, I wanted to do that for the PlayStation 1. My friend talked me out of it. He's like, no, it sucks. I'm like, alright. But, yeah, that would be my game. For a title, I guess it would just be called 1980, I guess. 1981, I guess. So, that's my game.
Oh, God.
Techno's is going to be Sonic.
Actually, no.
Yeah, there's a DS one. It's good.
Yeah.
It's already been made.
BioWare.
Yeah. I like that game, except Cream is broken. She ruins that game.
Dude, Cream is broken in any game she's in. because
she ruined Dark Brotherhood though, because like her heal ability was so overpowered.
yeah, well, she was broken in the Advance series because you could just throw cheese or chow at enemies and not have to, jump into them. But if I could be the top guy at Sega, I'd be like, hey, we're gonna make Skies of Arcadia 2. And then everyone would be like, oh, I didn't think of that. We should have did that many years ago. I'm like, yeah, I know. Or Sega Gaga 2. Yeah. It'd be awesome. And then actually, bring it over to America.
The first Hyperdimension had an insane amount of Sega references. It was ridiculous. Like, they started off with a Sonic reference, like, right off the bat in the first couple of lines. It's hilarious. I can't think of anything, but I've always been interested in, like, no one's really tried this except for a couple of games that failed miserably, but I've always been intrigued if they could pull off, like, a racing RPG. Like, that just blends, like, some sort of simulation mechanics.
Yeah, there is one on the PlayStation 1. I forget the name of it, but it's a racing RPG, not even kidding. There's an overworld map, and you get into random encounters, and then you race.
Yeah. See, stuff like that would be cool.
I looked into it, but it seemed like it had a little bit too much Japanese in it for me to be able to play fully. But that would be awesome if they, like, localized something like that.
Yeah, so something like that would be cool. Yeah. I don't know what I would call it. It's racing RPG.
Racing
Very
RPG.
creative. Untitled.
It's funny you say that, because I think the title of the Japanese one was something, not that generic, but they had, like, something RPG in the title. Like, flat out, this is a racing RPG.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yep. But
That's alright. Let's see. Our next questions comes from Space Pirate, and he asks, "What inspired you to start your YouTube channel?"
A lot of stuff.
And I'd have to say it was Pete. To be honest.
I've never heard of him.
Me neither.
For me, like, there was a lot of people that inspired me, but I think the biggest thing that I wanted to do is I had so many games that just were so odd and out there that I'm like, I go on YouTube and I'm like, man, no one's ever talking about any of these games, or, I feel so weird buying all these random, like, oddball games that no one else plays, but I'm like, someone needs to start talking about some of these games, and it's kind of part of the reason I do it, and I just care about video games way too much.
I was just, for many years, always trying different ways to talk about games. Starting my own solo podcast, which was hard as shit. Try talking to yourself for 2.5 hours. So it's, and back then doing a podcast and getting it out there was so hard to do, so I gave up on that for the amount of work that went into it. I've always been on, like, message boards in the past. I started a lot of, like, my own fan websites. Techno would be happy to know that, unfortunately, I don't have the web address for it anymore. It's probably, like, deleted, but I think I made it on, like, Angel Fire or something. But I made this, like, huge Power Stone fan site. I made a very popular, actually, because I made it before the game came out. But I was anticipating Dark Cloud 1 so much that I made an unofficial fan site. And it was called the Unofficial Dark Cloud Fan Site. And I advertised it on, like, GameFAQs and everything. And it's funny because my first account on GameFAQs got banned because I advertised the game twice or something like that. I mean, the website twice. And, that was actually a really popular website. But, just as examples, like, I've always just been wanting to talk about games. So in 2006, I tried my first couple of YouTube videos, and I had very limited resources. Like, I was filming my TV with my Xbox webcam.
Yep.
Anybody remember that that
Yeah.
shitty-ass webcam for 360. That's what I was using to film the TV, and then to get audio, I was basically just, like, blasting my speakers in hopes of my microphone picking up the audio. Like, it was terrible. And then, like, that wasn't working out for me because I just wasn't happy with the quality. And then 2 years later, when I had a little bit of a better webcam to work with, like, I was just browsing YouTube, and then I found Happy Console Gamers channel, and I'm like, man, I love this guy's passion for talking about games. I'm like, I would love to try this again. And I wrote to him, I'm like, I want to start up my channel. I don't know if I should. And, shortly after that, I started up my channel, and did games I bought recently. And at the time, as hard as it is to believe, there were no videos like it on YouTube in terms of somebody like just showing their recent pickups for games, and it went from there.
See, for me, mainly, one day I was just kind of like bored one day, so like I decided to just totally fuck around, and what I did is I did these like I was playing like Guitar Hero 3 at the time, and I made these videos where I just filmed myself with this crappy digital camera, and I would put the digital camera right next to my computer, which would play this a song of some sort. Usually it was like Rascal Flatts, Korn, Disturbed, whatever I felt like lip syncing to, and basically the camera was filming me playing the Guitar Hero 3 guitar, and lip syncing to the song, just totally whatever, and I posted them up on YouTube. I made about like 12 of them, and I got all these comments like, "Oh, show the fucking gameplay," and like I was actually playing the game, which I wasn't, and eventually they got like, what's the word? They got hit with like copyrights because I was playing Rascal Flatts, the song, and the Korn and stuff, and like that kind of discouraged me to like, okay, well, what the hell am I gonna do? I don't want to make a channel. I'm not really that passionate into it. But then I was actually you, Pete. You did your like your like
PS2.
no, it was
360.
it was the 360, the four-part 360 collection, and I'm like, oh, this guy has a lot of games. And from there, I checked out your other videos, and you did like a PS2 one. You did these are my different handheld systems, like all your different Game Boys, and then you started, the All Gen Gamers podcast, and I think it was like episode 2. That's when I was like, let me try the whole YouTube thing again. That's when I actually started filming myself again in front of the camera, just doing like my first review was like for like Metroid Other M, and I didn't even show any gameplay. It was just me sitting in a chair talking, and that was kind of it. But I guess it was you, Pete, and then the angry video game nerd as well. So, but that's about it for me, really. Yeah. And you guys will never see those Guitar Hero videos again.
Did you say you had a Hannah Montana video where you actually played the game?
Yeah.
That was actually my first one.
Sweet.
But because I did like Hannah Montana's music back in the day, but not anymore. All right, last question. Actually, last two questions. Mikey's Monarch, and this one's just for Pete. It says, if you could cosplay as anything, what would you cosplay as? Hopefully not Amy like Techno would.
Oh my
I've
God.
seriously thought about it, like, because walking around PAX is some awesome cosplays. I would probably never cosplay, but if I ever did, I thought about probably just cosplaying as Eco. That's about the only thing I would ever cosplay as. Because it's a fairly easy cosplay.
Yeah.
To create yourself. And I am just kicking myself because many years ago, like sometimes I think it's a dream because but I've seen pictures online, so it can't be. But on eBay, when the game like first came out, there is an official Eco like headpiece with the horns on it with the logo, like pretty cheaply made, like a plastic one with a sticker of the logo on it. But there is an official Eco headpiece with the horns, believe it or not. And I'm so disappointed I never decided to bid on that, because Eco merchandise is so goddamn hard to come by. And when you finally do find that, it's way too expensive. I I can't spend like. I think there was an Eco Press kit that showed up a few months ago, and it sold for like $800.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But I cosplay a lot too. It can get expensive. It really can.
I bet. Some of those costumes are like a couple $100 and stuff.
You know what? Well, like I cosplay. I go to like Anime Boston almost every year. I'm not going this year because of PAX, but I go to Anime Boston every year, and I cosplay as different things. And my most expensive costume was the Green Power Ranger. And I was actually talking to Techno about this. The bodysuit itself wasn't really that expensive. It cost me like $80. But the helmet was, I had to get custom made, to fit my head, and that was like $300 just for the helmet.
Jeez.
And like they can get expensive. Like if you want to go all out, they really can be they're really expensive. It's crazy. But okay, but go to the last question, and Mikey's Monarch asks for everybody. He says, if you have to sell your entire collection except for one racer, one platformer, one fighter, and one shooter, what would those games be?
Yeah.
One racer?
Yeah. If you had to sell your entire collection, but you can, except for one racer, one fighter, one platformer, and one shooter, what would those 4 games be that you would keep?
I would keep Mario Kart 7 for the online mode, for the replayability. For the platformer, I would keep Super Mario 64, because I feel that would have the most replayability in terms of a platformer. A fighting game, I'd probably keep Super Smash Bros. Brawl once again, just for the replayability of the online, and it's one of the few fighting games where, I'm not going to get too mad online. And what was the last? Oh, shooter.
Shooter, yeah.
I would keep SOCOM 1 or 2, but only if I can go back to the old school days when there was no cheating involved. I'd be on that game forever. I miss the old school SOCOM.
Let's see, for me, racer, I would go with Mario Kart 7 for the online. Platformer, Donkey Kong Country for the Wii, I guess. Yeah, I'll go with the Wii one. Fighter would be Super Street Fighter 4, the arcade edition. And shooter would be Halo Reach. For the online, for all those.
Yeah. I'm torn between Mario Kart 7 or Super Mario Kart, just because that was like one of the first racing games I played. Because it came with my system, along with Super Mario Run. I just go with Super Mario Kart just because it's so nostalgic. And for platformer, Super Mario Bros. 3, I love that game to death. For a fighting game, I'd have to say probably Garu Mao, Mark of the Wolves. This is one of my favorite fighting games. And shooter is tough because you kind of want some replayability. I just have to go with BioShock just because BioShock is one of my all-time favorite shooters, and even though like I honestly wouldn't get tired of the story. I could play that story over and over and over. It's such an engaging story. And the environment's incredible. What about you, Techno?
One racer. Gonna have to go with MK7. One platform. See, this part is hard. Because I could either choose. Can I choose Sonic 3 and Knuckles since it's actually supposed to be one game?
Yeah, why not?
Well, see, I could choose that, or Sonic 2, or Jak and Daxter. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm going to choose Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And then the fighter, oh, man. See, I was thinking about Mortal Kombat 9, but then I looked over to my Dreamcast collection and just, like, sighed. I was like, damn it. Oh, man. For multiplayer, I'm actually gonna have to go with so hard.
The anticipation is building. Make it good. Pressure's on.
Was the spiders he's on?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to say Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah.
What about
And
shooter?
Shooter. TF2
No, that's a good one.
online.
Cool. That's all our questions.
Yeah.
Yay!
So, I want to thank everyone for submitting a question. And if you guys have any questions for any future episodes, just leave a comment below if you're listening on YouTube. And if you have an audio question, send us an audio question at pressstartpod@gmail.com because we'll play those. We like questions.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
All right.
Dude,
What?
we haven't had an explosion in this episode.
Yeah.
You know what?
Good job, Techno. You
Go ahead.
held that.
You use your explosion right now.
Yeah, but explosions everywhere. Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh, fuck.
That was so uninspired.
Shut up.
That was the worst explosion ever.
I know.
Alright. Alright, well, you guys just want to end it here then?
Yeah, pretty much wraps it up.
Wraps that shit up.
Cool.
Tight like a tiger.
Tight like a tiger. Okay. Alright, well, yeah, so let's end it here, and we want to thank Petedorr for being on the podcast. Thanks,
Yes.
Pete.
It was a lot of fun, and I enjoy listening to your show every week.
Yay!
Yay.
And did you guys finally get that iTunes problem fixed with your bandwidth?
Yeah.
and everything?
Oh, actually, yeah. You know what? Let's just make that announcement right now. We actually established better bandwidth, so people listening to this on iTunes will actually be able to download us more often.
Yeah. Because when I listen to you on my iPad, I have to play it as a YouTube video, and that eats up my battery like no tomorrow. So,
Yeah, we got better bandwidth now, so you can actually download our episodes on iTunes and listen to them on your iPad, your iPhone, your whatever something. So, and
That calls for explosions.
there you go. Use your explosion.
Happy explosions.
Where can our fine listeners find you, Dan?
Our listeners can find me at youtube.com/nostalgicdan1. You'll find all of my latest videos. I cover a wide range of videos. I'm really random, so definitely check me out there. I also have a Twitter page, which I do update a lot with gaming-related stuff, and that's Nostalgic Dan on Twitter. I have a Facebook page. If you search Nostalgic Dan, you can like my Facebook page there, which I do update pretty regularly. And you can also follow me on twitch.tv/nostalgicdan, where you can watch me play some random games and just come in and chat with some awesome gamers and have a good fun time. So that is where our listeners can find me. What about you, CLiva?
Well, they can find me on YouTube as QuickFreeze4, and that's the number 4. You could also find me on Facebook. If you search for Quick Freeze's Game Room, you can like me on there. I do updates on my videos and, what we're doing for the Press Start podcast. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. What about you, Techno? Where can they find you?
Well, they can find me at youtube.com/ MrTechnoSqueek. It's two E's, not E and an A, like most people would think. And I'm on Twitter. It's same thing. So yeah, if you want to follow me there, you can. And that's it for me.
Sweet. And for you guys listening to this podcast, obviously you can find us on YouTube as Press Start Pod. You can find us on iTunes if you search for Press Start Podcast. And you can find us on the AverageGamershow.com. We have episodes on there put up by Cody, Don Raiden, and you can actually listen to them there, or you can download them as well. And if you guys have any future questions for any future episodes, you can email us at pressstartpod@gmail.com, and we will answer them for the next available episode. But, yeah, that's about it. So,
Wraps up episode 27.
27.
Yeah.
I like that abbreviation, the PSP, even though we have
I didn't
nothing
even
to do
think
with
about
Sony.
that. Like, when we first started that, I didn't even think of abbreviations. So I'm like, oh, it abbreviates the PSP.
Yeah, PSP. I was
How
like,
about TPSP? The Press Start Podcast.
TP. That sounds like toilet paper. That
Yeah,
like,
I like PSP.
It's like toilet paper special or something.
Special edition.
Special edition. Alright. But that's it, guys. Say
Thank you.
bye.
Bye. Thanks for
Bye.
listening, guys.
Bye.
Catch you next time.